playing at such a high level right now. There's nothing going wrong. I mean, they kind of checked out of that game in the third quarter.
Yeah.
Or late in the third quarter, they just sort of
coasted.
Yeah, they kind of lost their interest, and that happens. That happens.
Yeah, even Azili played really well.
Yeah, I like Azili. I think Azili is really starting to come on, and it's allowing Bogut to play fewer minutes, so Bogut's going to be fresher.
Yeah.
They combined for 26 points and 14 rebounds last night.
I saw that. That was amazing. Yeah, when Bogut moves, he can actually. I like it more.
Well, they were working a lot of alley-oop backdoor plays to him last night.
Yeah,
he had 4 of those.
Yeah, and they timed it very well.
Yeah.
Very, very well.
So I think Larry, we'll get him on for 2 segments, and then around 3 o'clock, we can give Monte a call and do like 1 segment with him. I think that would be fine.
Who are we calling first?
Larry.
We're going to call Larry.
Larry, yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that's right. Let me get the numbers here.
I hope I give you the night. Give you the new one for
Larry at
Larry.
925-212.
212, yeah.
081.
And then Monte's
415.
636-2472. Yeah, we're all set. Monte was kind of tough to reach, but he finally, he just doesn't return. He's not a really good, dutiful person returning texts, so I just kept after him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. It's funny that I realized it was a lot better to just move the phone over here, because before, remember how they couldn't hear you?
Yeah.
That's better for YouTube.
So good topics with Larry would be, Carolina and their surprise, Cincinnati, are they for real? Is this Peyton Manning's last straw in Denver?
Yep.
And Aaron Rodgers seems to be getting the Packers back online. And how about Seattle? I mean, those seem to be the 5 teams. And Houston's coming on. Houston's been a big surprise. Yeah, they were off a terrible start this year.
Yeah, last year they were supposed to be good.
We could do a little Niners and Raiders towards the end of it because they're kind of intriguing. Did you watch that Niners finish last week?
I did.
God, that was crazy.
Well,
That was a beautiful pass.
Yeah, it was.
And who's to say Gabbert was a good college quarterback. He's never played in a good team.
Uh-huh.
Maybe you put some decent players around him and he turns into a good quarterback.
It seems like Kaepernick sort of a who,
Yeah. Well, and they have some very winnable games coming up here. They're playing Cleveland. They should win that game.
Yeah.
The Raiders, on the other hand, have to play at Kansas City and at Denver. But and then they play at home against Green Bay. But I bet they win one of those games. They win one, and then they should beat San Diego.
Yeah, San Diego's really having a hard time.
Yeah, the good thing about the Raiders is they've been in every game. I mean, every single game, with the exception of Cincinnati, they've been in every game. So that's a good sign. Whereas last year they were getting blown out.
And I had a couple of things, two baseball things.
Yeah. Larry's good with baseball. Why don't we use that towards the second half? Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because the free agency, so many changes. It's kind of dizzying. I don't know if anybody signed today. I didn't see anything on my MLB app here today, so I don't think so. The Giants were interested in Zobrist, but I think that was just they were interested in having him as a utility guy. He wants an everyday job. So and Joe Panic's coming back, so hopefully that's a big if.
All right. It's a couple minutes before. Should we do our intro?
Yeah, let's do the intro.
Okay.
Go ahead. Let's do that.
Okay.
For Bruce, take. Oh, is this that?
Oh yeah, that's fine. I okay, you know how you like to take notes.
Oh yeah.
And so I even was going to throw that out, and I go, no, I'm going to give that to Bruce.
Really cool.
So introduce you. If you go to the back, it's like an etch a sketch. You go to the back and you push that thing, it'll erase it, and then you can take more notes.
And did you get the Meritage yet thing?
It didn't come in the mail yet.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, I should. I'm expecting in the next day or so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd love to take some of that up there sometime. Maybe
Yeah.
if we can get up there.
I'm still looking at some other good stuff in addition to that one.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, no, I haven't forgotten. I have.
I know. I don't need to be pestered
Yeah.
about it.
Because they said they were going to follow up and send it out. They're supposed to send it out this week.
Okay. Sounds good. Can't believe it's Wednesday already.
I know.
That's goes by fast.
The storm's gonna hit pretty soon.
I know, I can feel it.
I know. I took the motorcycle, and it's like, I gotta get out before
Get it before it gets, yeah. Oh, this is kind of cool.
Isn't that cute?
Yeah.
Actually, you can give that to your daughter.
Yeah.
Like that.
That's neat. How do you erase it?
On the back.
Oh, I see. You go like this.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That is so cool. Oh, she'd love that.
Yeah. In the meantime, you can play with it and take some notes.
Yeah. Definitely. Good. Thanks. Okay.
Ready? Here we go. Welcome to Sports Econ 101, the show where we discuss sports topics from a business perspective. I'm your host, Edward Brown, along with my co-host, Bruce McGowan, longtime sports radio personality. Now, today's show is going to be really fun because we're expecting to have two guests.
Yeah, we're going to talk with a football expert, Larry Krueger, who is a local sportscaster, talk show host in San Francisco. And then Monte Poole will join us a little bit later on in the show, Edward. And Monte covers the story of the year right now. As far as NBA fans are concerned, the Golden State Warriors, as we speak, they have yet to lose a game this season, which is just a remarkable accomplishment.
That does put them in first place, doesn't it?
Yeah. But you know, San Antonio's only about 4 games back.
Yeah.
The Spurs are playing, they're quietly playing extremely well. It's an amazing story.
Yeah, they've only lost four
games. I think they're as we speak, I think they're 18-4.
Yeah.
They had a game the other night where they didn't have Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, and Kawhi Leonard playing, and they won by 56 points. Of course, they were playing the 76ers.
Well,
so, you know.
You and I could have taken the 76ers.
Well, no, not quite. But you know what I'm saying.
Enough.
They're pretty bad, yeah.
All right. And if we have a little time, actually, yeah, you know what I was going to ask? I found out the 49ers are moving from Sunday night in week 15 because the NFL uses flexible schedules.
Oh, really?
And you got to figure it's all about the money and viewership. So,
when are they moving? To the afternoon?
I think it's going. Yeah, I think it's going to be an afternoon game.
Oh my goodness! I was hoping to catch both those games in person, so I guess I'll go to one or the other. They're playing. The Raiders are playing the same time, that same day. And usually they never play at home the same time. They were going to stagger them: Niners in the afternoon, early evening, Raiders in the afternoon. I was going to try to catch both. I guess that's not going to happen.
Now they're a little further away in distance, so maybe it's okay.
Well, actually, you know, they probably are. They are a little further away. They're about 40 miles away. They used to be about 12 miles away.
Yeah.
Of course, you had to go across the Bay Bridge, which was never an easy.
So you always just follow the money,
That's
right? Why would they change the schedule if it wasn't for the money?
Listen, it's all about ratings.
That's it. Okay, this segment of Sports Econ 101 is sponsored by Pacific Private Money, providing mortgage investments that are currently yielding over 8%, secured by Bay Area real estate. It doesn't get any more conservative than that. Check them out at pacificprivatemoney.com. Stay with us. You're listening to Sports Econ 101. We're going to be right back.
All right.
All right. So that's our little voice
Open it.
segment.
Okay. Well, I tell you, I love this smartphone.
Yeah, they're great. I know you really look and go, what did
Well, everything it's like a Swiss Army knife. It's a
Yeah.
camera. It's a recorder. It's a movie. You know, you can watch games. You can email people. You can get your email. You can Facebook. You can Twitter.
I know, so when you're sitting in the airport.
Oh, if you're bored, you just go right to it. Yeah, no, it's a great thing. If you're stuck in traffic and you're sitting in the passenger side,
seat,
yeah, it's a great thing to have. I was in the doctor's office today because I was having a flu shot, and as usual, things were slow, so I didn't want to go through it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right.
All right. So
Larry.
we'll call Larry.
Yeah.
All right.
Larry's got 4 kids.
Keep you busy.
Say the least.
You know, the only time I got the flu really badly is when I got the flu shot.
Really? You felt badly after that?
Oh, Eva and I both got
Right away?
Within a few days or something. It was
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Let's
Sometimes
get a flu shot.
Sometimes that happens. Oh, geez, Larry, pick up the
Come
phone.
on, Larry. Come on.
Larry Krueger, you've reached my cell
Okay,
phone.
I'll text him.
Leave me a message and I'll call you back as soon as I can.
Okay. Go ahead, leave him.
Yeah.
Please record your message. You have finished recording.
You did tell him today.
Yeah.
Press 1 for more options.
Hi, Larry. It is Edward Brown and Bruce McGowan, Sports Econ 101. It's around 2:30. We're trying to get a hold of you to do the phone interview. Bruce is going to text you now, and we'll probably call you back in just a little bit. Bye.
Hopefully nothing serious. He's usually very reliable.
Yeah. you like music, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, all kinds, or?
Yeah.
I am going to be getting some tickets, but they're going to be balcony tickets
Oh.
for Neil Diamond.
Oh.
But it's not him. It's
Right.
a tribute band. Yeah, a tribute band for Sinatra,
Oh, cool.
Pink Floyd,
Wow.
and Led Zeppelin.
Well, let me run that by Colette. Maybe she'd be interested.
Okay.
This is weird. I wonder Let me give him a try on my phone. Maybe he looked at the number and he didn't recognize it, so he thought that. Okay, let me call him. Let's just do that. All right, here we go. Larry? Hey, Larry, it's Bruce. Oh, sounds like we got you. There we go, Larry. Hey, how you doing? Hey, not too much. We'll call you right back on the main number. Yeah, no problem. You got it. Bye-bye. I think he's just picking up his kids.
What did I do here?
What happened?
Okay.
Everything okay?
Yeah, I did.
That's an email?
No, I was trying to email. I was trying to email and I accidentally hit something. Okay, so we got to call. Is he ready for us?
Yeah, he's ready to go.
Okay.
I hate that when it happens. Sometimes the computer can just screw up and it's like, my daughter seems to figure it out though, really well.
Hello?
There we go. Hey,
Larry, hi. It's Bruce and Edward.
how you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
Hey, thanks for doing this, Larry. Appreciate it, man. I know you're busy with the kids.
No problem.
Yeah. So,
Okay, you ready?
yeah.
Okay,
Let's
so
do it.
we'll get right into it, and I'll have Bruce introduce you.
Okay.
All right,
Here we go.
and away we go. Well, welcome back to Sports Econ 101. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Bruce McGowan. Bruce, who's our first guest?
Well, it's a good friend of mine. We used to work together, and of course, here in the Bay Area, he's known for doing the midday show with Gary Radnich, and has been working in radio sports for 20 plus years. It shows you how quickly it's moved along. Larry Krueger, nice to have you with us. And boy, this has been. We want to get into the NFL because I know that's your bailiwick. The NFL season has been fascinating this year. The team that everybody is talking about, of course, is Carolina. And what in the world is going on? It's more than just Cam Newton. I mean, it's a great defense too.
Absolutely. I mean, they've really hit on some defensive players. I mean, on the defensive line, Starla Taylor and K1 Short. And of course, they got one of the best linebackers going as well, in Luke Kuechly. And they've hit on some front seven impact guys, and you got to double team. You got to double team two or three of their guys in that front seven, and you just can't do that. So defensively, they get quite a team. Newton's coming into his own. Tight end Olsen is having a breakout year, and they've got some deep speed with Ted Ginn that opens up the field and enables them to kind of work underneath to this big receiver they drafted out of Michigan, Devin Funchess. And so despite the fact Kelvin Benjamin's out with the injury, they keep continuing to roll.
I got to ask you about Newton because there has been so much talk about how, geez, this guy's immature and he's not living up to his potential. We seem to forget he's a pretty young quarterback, and it takes a while sometimes, especially when you come out of college so highly touted, you begin to believe your own press clippings. Seems like he's calmed down and is in a good place where also having a guy like Ron Rivera as your head coach really helps.
Yeah, I mean, coming out, I think the NFL people were a little disappointed that he didn't take ownership of some of the issues that he had. But there's a maturing process. And this kid on the field has done nothing but win. He won at the junior college level. He won a national championship. He got into the national championship game with the Auburn Tigers. and then obviously has now got the Carolina to a perfect season. So Newton's come into his own physically, mentally, and they've got, they're solid in every phase of the game right now. They don't have great receiver, but as I said, they've got the requisite deep threat in Ted Ginn, so you have to defend the entire length of the field against Carolina. They got a pretty strong run game, and Newton's got mobility, and he's been a lot more accurate this year. So they look good. I mean, the question is, are they going to get out of the NFC or Seattle, who, Seattle last week dominated the Vikings in Minnesota, and they're coming. So you got Seattle playing decent football. You have Green Bay, who got that miracle Hail Mary to beat the Lions, and believe it or not, if Green Bay gets in, Aaron Rodgers is going to be a very tough guy to get out of the playoffs. So I think the NFC playoffs are going to be wide open right now. I beware of Green Bay, beware of Seattle.
Yeah, when you have a quarterback like Newton, I mean, what do you get? You got to run. He's really powerful, so he doesn't get tackled that easily. He's always had a good arm. They're definitely going to be tough. Larry, I was going to ask you a quick question about, like with the 49ers, finding out that they're going to be moving from Sunday night in Week 15 because the NFL uses what they call the flexible schedule. Have you seen that before, or is it just strictly, the Niners are just lousy now, and so it's all about the ratings and viewership?
Oh, it's a wonderful thing. I mean, for the networks, they get a chance, instead of having to make these guesses, instead of having to guess what's going to be the premier game, they can now flex, a certain number of games. So they wind up getting basically the better matchup in prime time.
I mean, what about all those fans?
It was a new rule implemented over the last 3 years. It really hasn't affected the 49ers in any way because the 49ers have always been a premier team. But now that they're a team that's struggling and they're not one of the NFL's premier teams, they don't look like a playoff team. Now a Niner Bengal game this week is getting flexed out of prime time for Cardinals Eagles, I believe. Because I feel like that's a better matchup. But it's just the networks trying to cherry pick the best matchups and trying to see where the audience is.
I mean, can you imagine being part of the stands, fans who are going to the game and suddenly it's, oh, by the way, the game's been changed.
They probably actually like it because it's more to their, regular routine of they tailgate in the afternoon. And I don't know, Larry, I would think as a fan, you're going to the game. As a fan in the Bay Area, you probably would rather have it in the evening. But if you're going to the game, it's probably a better thing for the 49ers to play at 1 o'clock.
I mean, it's right around the holidays. And you get a lot of people who travel a good distance to see some of these NFL games. So I think the earlier time is probably better for most people. But there'll always be somebody who says, hey, look, man, I bought this ticket thinking this game was at 5 o'clock, and I work this shift, and this is going to inconvenience me. So you can't please everybody.
Yeah,
overall, I think more people would probably rather go in the daytime.
Well, on the flip side, what about the team that was supposed to play in the afternoon and gets shifted to the nighttime?
I bet you I would think, Larry, that they would be happier with the routine because they get to stay with their normal kind of everyday Sunday and not have to kind of, not that it's a huge deal, 4 hours difference.
Well, except for your 10-year-old has to go to bed.
Oh, right.
Yeah, school.
Yeah, you're talking about.
Also, you got to remember too. I mean, some of these teams, you're talking about Eastern teams. I mean, I don't know where that Philly-Arizona game is, but let's say it's in Philly. Yeah. Philly was going to play that game at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. They were going to board a plane flight, let's say, to fly back to Philly. Maybe that instead of flying back at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, getting home, at midnight, they're flying right now at midnight and probably getting home in the middle of the morning, and that's another lost day as they look towards the next week preparation-wise. So all these things factor in, to the discussion. Unfortunately, none of them factor into the decision.
Yeah.
The decision is all based on who's going to watch. More eyeballs will watch which game, and the networks will hedge their bet to make as much money as they can for their sponsors.
And watch them stick it to them and make that same team play, like Philadelphia, play on Thursday night.
Interesting what Larry was saying about eyeballs. That's a sort of a catchphrase that television people use. In radio, we use ears. How many ears are listening? You mentioned Cincinnati, though, and that intrigued me because they are quite a story. We saw them out here against the Raiders in the season opener, and they were most impressive. They jumped out to something like a 31-0 lead. Now, Marvin Lewis has never been able to get his team through a playoff. I don't think he's won a single playoff game, but once again, now they've had a few stumbles lately, but once again, they are looking like maybe one of the teams to beat. Are they the kind of team you think, after all that they've been through the last few years, that they can finally jump through that first round and maybe shake out of this funk?
Well, I mean, the quarterback's ready to win in the playoffs. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Andy Dalton. They have a tremendous cast of, surrounding talent. I mean, I think you can make an argument the Bengals are the most talented team in the NFL, top to bottom. In fact, Bill Belichick earlier this year said exactly that they're the most talented team in pro football. I mean, Tyler Eifert is as good as any tight end going. A.J. Green. They've got Giovanni Bernard and Jeremy Hill in the backfield. They got a real strong offensive line. Defensive line, they got Geno Atkins, who's an impact guy and a difference maker and a guy you got to double team. But they got a lot of big time talent. There's no question about it. They haven't won in the playoffs though, and until Andy Dalton and the Bengals get over that hurdle in the playoffs, nobody's really going to think of them as a legitimate Super Bowl contender. And I think they have a good chance to get over. But not, you still got to wind up beating quality teams. And I'll tell you, the team in the AFC that I mentioned before, Seattle and the NFC with Green Bay, the sleeper team in the AFC are the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Mm-hmm.
The Pittsburgh Steelers have a dominating offense. They have Martavis Bryant and Antonio Brown, a terrific line, Roethlisberger. They have a lot of weapons, and then they're a scary football team. They just put up a ton of points last week, and their offense may be the most explosive thing in the NFL, and on the strength of that alone, they may win another Super Bowl in Pittsburgh this year just because of that offense.
Wow.
That's what offense
Okay.
is.
Hey, Larry, stay with us. We're going to cut to a commercial break here, and our trivia theme, which I forgot to mention earlier, is football quarterbacks. All right?
And you can answer this question, but wait till after the break. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
There you go.
Who is the only quarterback to defeat a Vince Lombardi coached team in a playoff game?
Mm.
The first email with the correct answer is going to win a free 3-day, 2-night stay at the Lighthouse Resort. Email edward@sportsecon101.com the answer to this question. Who is the only quarterback to defeat a Vince Lombardi coached team in a playoff game?
I got that one.
You do?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
stay
yeah.
with us. You're listening to Sports Econ 101. When we come back, Bruce is going to answer that question.
I'm pretty sure it's Norm Van Brocklin.
You would be correct.
That's the very first.
Very good.
What do you say?
Norm Van Brocklin of the Philadelphia Eagles is the very first NFL championship game, Larry, I ever actually paid really close attention to. It was interesting because it was Van Brocklin's last game as a pro, I believe, and Lombardi was only in his second year as head coach. And of course,
What year are we talking?
1960. Yeah, they were in the NFL championships in 60, and then they won it, of course, in 61, 62, and they won it again in 65, 66, and 67. So they won it five out of 7 years, and they were in it 6 out of 8 years. Which is,
Van Brocklin was a tough cookie.
yeah, he was.
Was that when he was with the Rams?
No, he was with Philadelphia.
Okay.
At Old Franklin Field. Yeah. I remember, I'm really showing my age here. We're going to get back to this in a sec. I remember my dad sitting me down. I was 6 years old and watching the Baltimore Colts New York Giants playoff game, the famous game that went into overtime. That's the first time I ever actually remember watching a game on television, in any sport. Yeah.
Well, it's funny. I just met somebody, and we were talking yesterday, and he's older, and he said he was actually at the Heidi game.
I was there. Was it in the end zone? Yeah, my dad got us end zone tickets. Yeah. $3.50 to watch that game.
$3.50.
$3.50. I still have the tickets.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
That's an important one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Word something.
Yeah.
All right, you ready?
Yes, we are.
There we go.
Okay. Thanks for hanging in there, Larry. We'll be right back here.
Okay, here we go. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Again, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Bruce McGowan. When we get to the first commercial break, we asked this tough question, but Bruce knew the answer. Rascal, who was the only quarterback to defeat a Vince Lombardi coached team in a playoff game, and who was that?
Well, I know it because I'm so old. But it was actually, I was telling Larry and you off mic, it's the first NFL game I ever watched on TV that I really remember paying close attention to. 1960 NFL Championship. This was before they had the Super Bowl. So this was the game played at Old Franklin Field in Philadelphia, and Norm Van Brocklin, who had been a great quarterback in Los Angeles with the Rams. And of course, Lombardi took his Packers back into the championship game 5 times over the next 7 years, and they won the first 2 Super Bowls.
Did he play for the Cleveland Rams at all? Or was
Van Brockman?
Yeah, was
I believe it was only in LA. Yeah.
It's so funny. I was thinking about an old book that I had about greatest quarterbacks, and
he's right up there. Tough dude.
Yeah, it had like Bobby Lane.
Yeah, Bobby Lane.
Sid Luckman,
Who didn't? Bobby Lane did not wear a face mask. He was the last guy not to wear a face
Oh, was
mask.
that for Detroit, right?
Well, and then Pittsburgh. And later,
okay.
later Pittsburgh. Detroit was very good.
Detroit.
Anyway, Larry Krueger, longtime Bay Area sports talk host, is joining us, and we're talking a little NFL football. And Edward and I do talk from time to time, Larry, about the business of sports. And one of the things that really is fascinating right now is the NFL is in this quandary as to what to do with the Los Angeles market. 20 years without a team. Now you've got the possibility of the St. Louis Rams, the Oakland Raiders, and the San Diego Chargers. Incidentally, should mention that all 3 of those teams at one time have played in the LA market. Who has the inside track right now at going to LA? And will it be more than one team, Larry, from what you can tell?
Seems like the Rams have the inside track because the guy, the owner, owns the lane at Hollywood Park.
They also don't have to change the uniforms.
That's true.
I think that's a big thing. You know, I mean, I personally would like to see the Rams back in LA because they're the ones with the longest history in LA, and I think, again, I think the biggest number of fans right now are probably Raider fans in LA, as far as the number of people that would actually show up day one. But you know, it's an interesting thing. The NFL's used LA as the stalking horse, the perennial stalking horse, and I think that they've used that as much as they can, and now they want to actually put a team there and start capitalizing on that population base. But I think it'll be the Rams. That'll be my guess, and I think they'll figure out a way to ace out the Raiders. I think ultimately, I think what would be best is ultimately what's going to happen here, which is I think the Rams and Chargers are going to wind up sharing a facility in Southern California, and that may take the Chargers out of San Diego, but I think that's what's going to be reality. And then I think ultimately the Raiders should stay in Northern California, and I think they will. And I think they'll find a way to renovate, have a brand new stadium on the same side of the Coliseum is on right now.
So does St. Louis get
That'll be my guess of how it shakes down. How that happens? Does the NFL pitch in? Is there NFL dollars involved? I think somehow, some way, there's going to have to be something involved because Mark Davis will not be able to get that done by himself. But with a little bit of help from the league and maybe a minority investor or two, I can see that becoming a reality, and maybe being in Mark's best interest financially going forward.
So, Larry, does St. Louis then get to say, if we lose our team, do we get our old team back, the Cardinals?
No way. No, why would the Cardinals leave Phoenix?
Okay, so then
they're having a great year down there. They're not going to leave Phoenix. They got a great stadium. They got a great fan base.
So does St. Louis get a team?
The Cardinals are not going anywhere.
No. The Raiders. Now I've heard talk that the Raiders might go to St. Louis. What have you heard about that?
I mean, that would just be so wrong. And so hard. I mean, come on. I mean, go somewhere where nobody wants you, and leave a fan base that loves you. I mean, it makes no sense.
Although
it makes some sense, I guess, because you can say they were there and there's something. But I don't think the NFL wants the Raiders back there. I don't think they liked the Raider fan, the image of the Raider fan back in those days. I think they want to see the Rams and Chargers, kind of take over Los Angeles and have the Raiders find a new facility in Northern California. The interesting thing will be if the 49ers and Raiders wind up having to share Levi Stadium at some point. I think that's probably in the best interest of both teams as well, and probably in the best interest of the fans.
Well, it worked well in New York with the Jets and the Giants. It's worked very well back there, and nobody's complained about it as far as I can tell.
Well, they have the Raiders.
I would say to anybody who's against that, I would say, get over yourselves and realize who you are. Stay in your lane. You know what I mean? Realize what you are. Because 2015, it's California. You're not going to get another $1 billion stadium built, most likely, for what? 12 dates a year? I mean, it makes no sense.
It's ludicrous.
It makes no financial sense.
Yeah,
to me, I think that what does make sense is the 49ers and Raiders sharing Levi Stadium, and I think that could be in one of the options if the rest of the options for putting a new stadium Coliseum in the Coliseum site somehow bogged down.
That phrase "stay in your lane" doesn't work for me because I ride a motorcycle and I split lanes. But question though is, do the Raiders sell out all the time?
They have been.
Okay, because that.
But they have a smaller attendance now, a smaller capacity. It's about 53,000. It's like that's the irony. They moved back to Oakland because they wanted a bigger stadium in Oakland. They got the bigger stadium, but they weren't selling it out even during the good years. So then they tarped off the seats up top, and now Larry, I think it's like 56,000. So it's not much bigger than it was originally.
So what are they hoping for? 75,000?
No, they're not.
I mean, that's because that to me would be. I mean, how many?
They hope to get 75. But St. Louis doesn't Larry St. Louis have about 70,000, I think.
It's a bigger stadium, I believe. I think it's closer to 80. But
Close to 80.
You're still talking though about a team that hasn't been able to sell out their season. I mean, they blacked out a ton of games locally over the last decade because they can't sell out the Coliseum. So, but I mean, it's cyclical. They were poorly run for a number of years. Al Davis drove that thing into the ground with poor decision making. But they found their way now, and they've got a little momentum, and they probably could pack a bigger house if they had a bigger house. And they need a state-of-the-art facility, maybe at the side of the Coliseum. But it also seems like it better be a multi-use deal. Otherwise, I don't know if that makes any sense to build another stadium that's $1 billion facility.
No, I can see, okay, St. Louis seems, to have different fans, right? But if you're going to take their football team away and you've got this huge stadium, I don't care what the name of the team is. I mean, they'll have a new set of fans, but the Raider players are still the Raider players. They're still football players. So they'll just have to embrace it. It's not like, the guys will be dressed up necessarily.
But I'm with Larry here. I think even though the Raiders do have a cult following and a national and international following, and they probably have a good crew of fans in St. Louis, I'm with you, Larry. I think you want to ideally keep the Raiders on the West Coast because they've always been here. They have more fans out here. And I think it would throw the geographical alignment, out of whack, too. I mean, that's something you got to
I don't want them to leave, but I'm just saying.
The St. Louis fans just want a team.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
They don't want the Raiders.
Yeah.
They don't want the Raiders. They want a team. I mean, I understand why they want a team. They want a team because it's big business. But they don't want the Raiders. And the Raiders do have people here who want them and want them desperately and are passionate about them. I can't see them leaving. I mean, maybe the NFL could have a plan for them to have another team in St. Louis, but I don't think the Raiders are leaving.
Yeah, okay, but would it be like, St. Louis doesn't maybe want the Raiders because the Raiders aren't playing well? I don't think.
I don't think that has anything to do with it. I don't think that has anything to do with it.
It's the genre.
No,
of the Raiders?
it's just. I think what Larry is saying is true. The Raiders are not. If you live in the Midwest, generally speaking, the Raiders are not popular. They have pockets of fans, big pockets back east. Some down south and a lot in California, but the Midwest, it's probably because of the Chiefs and Denver and Houston over the years, and historically it has not been a place. You would not want to move a team. At the same time, though, there has been a lot of franchise shifts, and that lends itself to the next question, which is, the NFL is the biggest and most successful league, and yet at the same time, Larry, all these franchise shifts, are they healthy for the sport? Because you don't see a lot of this happening in Major League Baseball.
Well, I mean, the NFL is abundantly healthy, so I'm not worried about their health. I mean, as far as franchise shifts, it's not necessarily the best thing. It reveals some instability, but I mean, the NFL is an enormous. It's probably the healthiest industry in America right now. I mean, the NFL is a $14 billion industry that was a $7 billion industry a decade ago. I mean, there aren't too many industries in America that can match that level of growth. So,
it's got to be the superstar players
right now.
I mean, that's what it is. You got a handful or so of superstar players. Brady, Peyton Manning. It's that kind of stuff. I remember basketball was dead in 1978, 79. You had Bird and Johnson. Magic Johnson, and suddenly it revitalized basketball.
Well, and also you had a marketing genius. I think that's one of the things that football doesn't have to market itself quite like the other sports because it is a perfect sport for television. It really is.
Well, also I think the NFL is capitalizing on things that other sports don't have, which is NFL has gambling. The NFL has appointment television, and the NFL has violence.
Violence. That's what we want.
That's what it is.
Hit that guy.
Hurts.
Knock the snot out of him.
Yeah. Larry.
That's the three factors of television viewership right there. I mean,
Yeah, that's true.
Good
people
point.
know where they can find it. They're gambling on it, and it's inherently violent, and they're kind of getting off on the violence.
Yeah.
Great stuff, Larry. Always a pleasure having you on, man.
Yeah. Thanks, Larry, for joining us on Sports Econ 101.
Anytime.
Okay.
Take care.
All right.
All right. So we got to cut to a quick commercial break. NFL quarterbacks, what we're talking about. Who was the first quarterback to begin his career with 6 consecutive 3,000-yard seasons? Stay with us. Sports Econ 101 will be right back.
That's a good one. I'm trying to think who that would be. Has to be somebody who came right out of the chute. It wasn't Elway, I know, because Elway got off to a slow start. 6,000.
That was good. That was good.
Yeah, Larry's very good.
He's very good.
Rogers.
And then is
What time we got here?
Monty ready for us?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Let's give him a shout. God, I'm trying to think. That's probably so obvious.
It wasn't Ryan Leaf, I'll tell you that.
Ryan Leaf. That poor
That
guy.
poor sap.
God. That guy, talk about a fall from grace.
Yeah.
I don't think there's been any highly touted player who's had such a pratfall.
Yeah,
There was
even Brian Bosworth had,
Yeah, he had a couple of good
success.
years. He had a couple of good years. He played 7-8 years in the NFL. Yeah. The Boz.
That 30 to 30 was really good.
Yeah, I saw that. That was terrific. Yeah.
Seems like he's quite matured now.
Yeah, he seems like a good guy.
Yeah.
He does. He does seem like a good guy. Hopefully,
It was
Monty.
fun watching him in college.
Oh, man, he was terror.
Yeah.
Yeah, terror.
Dominating.
Monty, please pick up your phone.
Oh, that's right. You said he doesn't like the hits of the phone. Or
You know what I'll do? I'll text him.
text him and tell him that we're trying to give him a call. So he'll just be on this segment.
Yeah. Okay.
About 13 minutes.
Not a big deal. I can get him.
Hi, you reached Monte Poole of CSN Bay Area. Sorry I missed you.
That's the 415, right?
Yeah.
Get back to
Yeah,
you.
he said he,
Okay.
At the tone, please record your message. When you finish recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hi, Monty. It is Edward Brown and Bruce McGowan from Sports Econ 101. We're giving you a call to do the phone interview. Bruce is texting you now. We'll call you back in a little bit. Thanks. Bye.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember, Monty, did he play ball?
No, but he's a big guy.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I think he played high school ball. 6'3", 6 or 7'2". All right, let me try this.
I wonder how he got his.
Well, he was writing for the San Francisco or the Oakland Tribune for a long time. And then he hooked up with CSN. Smart guy to get out of because
the Tribune.
the Tribune is part of the Bay Area News Group, and it's just not a very good situation.
They call him Bang for short.
Yeah, 636-2472.
That's what I've got.
Okay, 636.
636
472. 472. Okay. All right. Why am I not? This doesn't seem to work. I think it's because it's a landline. Okay, let me call him on his. Let me call him on his cell. Monty on your cell. Hey, Monty, it's Bruce. How you doing? We'll call you. Oh, no problem. Just no problem. Oh my gosh. Oh, no problem. We'll call you. Should we call you back on the 636 number, the 415? Okay, sounds good. We'll call you back in about 7 minutes. Okay, thanks. Yeah, he couldn't talk because his sister just got heart surgery, and he's talking with his nephew. So give him 7 minutes, and he said he'll be ready to go in 7 minutes. That's okay.
Oh yeah.
Give it till like, I think it's 03, give it till 10. Oh, it's getting dark out there. Yeah, Larry's good. Larry knows his stuff. I mean, he really, I'm very impressed with the way he prepares, you know. I've seen him prepare. He is extremely, hi, Bruce McGowan. Hi, Molly, how are you? Oh, are you going to just hang out with her? Because I'm finishing up over at Edwards. We still have one more segment to.
Tell her I got a present for her.
Oh, and I got a present for you too. A little thing that you'll get a kick out of. I will be done in about 20 minutes. I can come pick you up. And are you not going to go swimming? Well, I wouldn't be able to get you over there in time. Can Roxanne drop? Do you want me to just? I can pick you up in about 40 minutes. Is that okay? You want to just blow off swimming? Okay. Would you like to go swimming? Because if you like to go swimming, Mom and I can get you afterwards. What do you feel like doing? You sure? Okay. So you're going to be with over Yasmin. Can you hang out with her? Now, are you in San Geronimo or are you in so you're in San Geronimo? No, wait a sec, Molly. Molly, you're in San Geronimo? Okay, so you're up over the hill. Okay, but what I'm saying is Roxanne, you're at Roxanne's house in San Geronimo, right? You think so? Okay, let me talk to her real quickly. Let me talk to her. Okay. "40 minutes. Let me speak to her. Hey, Roxanne, you want me to just come by? I'm finishing up a radio show here. I got another 15, 20 minutes, and then I can leave here in about, 30 minutes tops. And I can pick up Okay, well. Oh, jeez. Oh. Okay. Okay, well, yeah, that's fine. Molly said she didn't care either way, but yeah, why don't you go ahead and do that because it'll make it easier. I can pick her up or Colette can pick her up at 4:15. Yeah, if that's not a problem. Is that okay? Okay, okay. Well, go ahead. Just let her know. Thanks so much. Okay, bye-bye. Logistics.
Of course.
Kids. That doesn't happen too often. So cute. She's with a friend, and she's out there playing in the backyard, and the friend poked herself in the eye with a little branch, so she's all messed up. Nothing serious, but.
I reached for a ball and I literally had to go to the emergency room.
What happened?
A branch. I didn't see it, and it poked me, and it broke off right in my eye. I mean, a little piece, but
I tell you, you got to be careful.
My high number.
I'm bumping into things all the time. Let's give mine 2 more minutes here.
Okay.
And then we'll get him. God, that's going to be tough. His sister's open heart surgery. Man, she can't be that old. Monty's about 50, so she's probably in her 50s.
Maybe we'll have you text him just before we call.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that. The only, yeah. I'll have a text. Listen, Larry, thank you. Thanks so much. All right. I think you'd be fine just to call him on this main, the 415 number.
That's the same one.
Yeah, let's just try that. One more minute here.
Yeah.
Sorry to have to make you wait.
No, it's okay.
God, that Raiders game Sunday, that was the disappointing, discouraging loss I've ever seen. I mean, in a long time.
Well,
I mean, they're ahead, they're moving the ball, and then the interception.
Yeah.
They score a touchdown, it's tied. Okay, there's time. There's still plenty of time.
Yeah.
Another interception, another touchdown. They're still only down by 6 points. They get in a field goal, miss the field goal. And so they're still down by 6 points. Another interception, and this time he takes it to the house. And then they hit the 2-point conversion. Not that would have been.
Yeah,
That was just like the stake in the heart.
yeah.
Oh, man. That was just, I mean, you talk about the air coming out of the stadium. God. And it wasn't really, Carr's first pick, I don't know if you saw the game. First one, he's trying to avoid the sack. He should have taken the sack. And and the ball goes fluttering into the air and it gets caught. Second one, Crabtree falls down right where he's supposed to be. There's the defensive back. Third one, it pops off a guy's hands. So, it's not all his fault. But Kansas City's defense just swarmed over him the last quarter. They sacked him 3 times in the fourth quarter. They just wore him down. So, all right.
Niners were fortunate too.
They were very fortunate to beat Chicago's not a bad team. I think Monte should be okay now.
Okay. So you're texting
Yeah,
me?
just give him a call. I think if I text him, it's almost like I'm bugging him too much. Sorry to hear about that. If he doesn't answer, we'll wait a few
Hey, Bruce.
minutes.
Hey, Bruce, Monty, it's Edward Brown and Bruce McGowan.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. What's going on with your sister? She had open heart surgery, did you say?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
geez,
yeah.
Monty, I'm sorry. Is she gonna be okay?
Well, yeah, they think so. I mean, she's gotten through the first 48, first 24, but she's just, my nephew was just telling me that I was going to go down and visit her, and they said, well, might as well not come until maybe later tonight, because right now she's really pretty incoherent.
Yeah.
And in pretty good, in a lot of pain. So,
Oh, yeah. How old is she?
my sister is 24.
Wow, you got a much older sister there.
Oh yeah, I'm the youngest and she's the oldest, and there was a lot of time between the two of us. Yeah.
How many kids in the family?
3.
Okay. Your parents kind of
Well,
spaced them out.
when my sister was born before my dad went off to war,
Oh wow.
and then me and my brother were born long after. A lot changed between the time that he left for war and the time he came back to the States, and they settled in, and then they had me and my brother.
Your dad was a World War II vet.
Yes.
Which theater? Europe or the Pacific?
Asia.
Asia. Okay, my dad was over in Asia too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fighter pilot.
Okinawa.
Wow.
Over there. So, my sister was born. Oh yeah, she's 75, I think.
Wow.
73, I'm sorry.
Okay. Oh, we gotta talk about that sometime because my dad at the end of his life started telling me stories he didn't tell me before because he was a fighter pilot and I had no idea
Wow.
he'd gotten into some stuff.
It's interesting that I've been told that guys who are like really in the fight and the war heroes and stuff like that, they don't talk about it.
No.
And all these guys brag about doing this, brag about doing that. They're not usually the ones who.
No.
In fact, my father-in-law was in Pork Chop Hill
in the Korean War.
In the Korean
Ooh,
War, actually, in that battle. He was
wow.
one of the few survivors.
That's
and
interesting.
they
Wow.
never talked about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Monty.
Okay, you're all set, Monty?
Yep.
All right,
All right.
let's do it. Here we go. Well, welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Again, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Bruce McGowan. Bruce, before we introduce our guest, we have to answer our trivia question, which was, who was the first quarterback to begin his career with 6 consecutive 3,000-yard seasons?
Good question, and our guest is Monte Poole from CSN Bay Area, longtime Bay Area sports writer who covers the Warriors exclusively for CSN, and I'm going to open it up to Monte too, because Monte, it seems like an obvious question, but an obvious answer, but I'm stumped here. Have you got a query, an idea there who this might be?
Well, you said he began his career with 6 straight.
Yeah.
Seasons?
Yeah.
Okay. Can I get a hint or two or no?
He's still playing. Barely.
Well, that's
Oh!
Is he active?
Yes, he is.
Got to be Peyton Manning.
It is Peyton Manning.
Yeah, I was going to
That's
say,
right.
Monte knew that one.
Very
too.
good.
Well, Monte covers the NBA, and of course, the big story this year in the NBA, the big story in all sports really has been the ascension of the Warriors, who as we speak, have this amazing winning streak going on. And Monty, it's got to be a lot of fun. I've been to a few games. You go to most of all the games. Talk a little bit. Tell us a little bit about the personality of this team, because this is a unique group of guys that we don't see these kind of athletes very often in one room together. And I think maybe that's one of the large reasons or big reasons why they're so
Yeah, they seem
successful.
to gel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have any question that it's hard to build a team with these kinds of players in terms of personality, skill level, talent, and camaraderie. It's pretty rare. You've got a good group of guys. I mean, they're different personalities, and they do have egos, but they all understand. They've all bought into the team concept. I mean, last year, being so good last year surely helped that. But a big part of it to me is that their leaders, Steph Curry and Draymond Green, are the team's leaders. And both of those guys are classic sort of underdog players who overachieved, you might say. And so they're low maintenance stars. And I say that because you look at Curry, first of all. Curry was, looking at Davidson, there's a lot of doubt about him. Whether he could really be an NBA player. Yeah, he was a good college shooter, but could he be an NBA star? And they thought, well, maybe he'll be a guy who can come off the bench and shoot jumpers. And even before that, I mean, Steph had a lot of barriers to hurdle even in high school because he was so small, so frail, and people didn't buy into him. I mean, he was almost not recruited at all. His mom and his dad both went to Virginia Tech. Now, usually when your mom and dad go to the same college, you're an athlete, you're a pretty good chance of going there. They will look at you and try to get you in there. They didn't even look at it. They didn't look at it. And so if you can't get into Virginia Tech and your parents went there, you got no shot at, say, Duke or Carolina. And so he goes to Davidson. And, of course, he felt rejection over that. I mean, Davidson, he enjoyed his time there, and he had and was well coached there. He's a Davidson guy now, but he won't forget that the big schools turned away from him. And so he carries that with him. Even in the pros here, when he got to the Warriors, there was a lot of doubt. The famous thing is that the Timberwolves drafted 2 point guards before Curry was with Curry on the board. So
you wonder if he had played for Duke, how much it would have changed his personality to,
yeah, I bet it probably would have. So you've got that, so Steph plays with an intense desire to show people that he can be as good as he thinks he can be. So he's highly, highly, highly competitive.
Well, it's awesome when you get the fans on the other team to start rooting for you every time you're hitting these really deep threes. Because I mean, what is he, 6'3"? I mean, on a good day, right? He's 6'3", and those threes that he's hitting are ones that you'd see a guy maybe 6'6", 6'7" hitting.
Well, he's such a unique player because he handles the ball and he also shoots it. So he is probably the best. Well, he's certainly the league's best combination ball-handler shooter, and he may be both the best at either one of those. So you've got that. And Draymond is not much different in the sense that he also felt rejection. He was too fast. He wasn't athletic enough. He couldn't shoot well enough. He heard all the things he couldn't do, and so that's why he lasted until the second round. Some teams that kept saying, he's an okay college player, but in the NBA he'll be swallowed up by the better athletic guys, the bigger guys, the guys who shoot better. He can't defend at the NBA level. So he carried that with him every single day, and came in with a desire to prove himself. And that hasn't left. So now he gets a big contract, 5 years, $82 million. And he comes back and he's even better than he was last year when he was a borderline all-star, second in Defensive Player of the Year voting. So clearly, he and Steph are the key to this team, not only on the court, but also in the locker room. And they set the tone. And so the Warriors are a team that plays, they embrace the underdog mentality, even though they have a championship and a win streak. They haven't changed their mentality. They still believe that every game for them is a rite of passage, is a test, their way to prove that they belong where they are.
Well, especially last year with everyone saying, well, Cleveland had players that got hurt, they didn't have to go through the Clippers, and that sort of thing.
Yeah, and that's a big part of it. I mean, I think that mentality was there, but that just reinforced it, hearing the doubters and the skeptics.
But now it's
so
becoming.
When you hear that, people think if you're with the Warriors thinking, oh yeah, we won the championship, we played who was in front of us, so what's the problem? And they're going out and they're proving now that there shouldn't be a problem. I think a lot of people who were talking over the summer about questioning the legitimacy, if you will, of their championship, it's all silent now because so far they've blown people off the court. Yesterday was supposed to be a pretty good test for them in Indiana, and look what happened. I mean, for 3 quarters they totally dominated that team, and the fourth quarter got close because the reserves didn't play well, but the Warriors were never really truly threatened in that game.
It's interesting though, guys, relating to what you're saying, Monty, a lot of the writers and the media people, we're talking with Monte Poole of CSN Bay Area, who covers the Warriors on a regular basis, they've used this comparison where they said the Warriors are kind of like the Harlem Globetrotters, and every other team is the Washington Generals, and it's almost like that when you go to some of these arenas. I mean, I know you traveled a little bit with the team this year. Have you ever seen a team outside of maybe Magic's Lakers or perhaps Bird and the Celtics back in the day, and Michael Jordan certainly? It's the same kind of thing though that we saw in those days. That has that people just want to see this team play. It's almost like Curry gets the crowd going because they want to see him do something.
Yeah, no, there's no question that the entertainment value of that this team brings is extremely high, and so everywhere they go, people really freak out over the prospect of seeing Steph Curry. They're selling out arenas that don't normally sell out. I mean, Brooklyn doesn't always sell out, and you couldn't buy a ticket in Brooklyn. Yesterday in Indiana, the tickets were going for 4 times the face value. They are that team, and yeah, I've seen teams. I mean, Jordan Pippen Bulls were similar to that. When they had Jordan Pippen and Rodman, they were a traveling road show. They were a traveling circus, if you will, rock stars, and so were the Heat with LeBron and Dwayne Wade and Bosh for a couple of years. Remember, they had the nickname the Heat. Well, the Warriors are that team now. They are the most entertaining team in sports, and they have likable players. And right now, they're not losing. Well, you put that combination together, and everybody wants a part of it. So you see all the people lined up. And the other thing is, Steph Curry is such an accommodating superstar. He signs autographs. He puts on a show before the game with his dribbling exhibition, the shooting exhibition. He doesn't mind that there are hundreds of people standing around the court, just like gaping at him, staring at him while he does his thing. And it's a show, and the Warriors have discussed maybe we should open the gates a little bit early and let people in watch this thing because it's so popular.
Kind of like batting practice with Barry Bonds or something,
Yeah, exactly. Well, he's good people. He's got good parents to teach him.
Absolutely.
Hey, moving on, just for a quick second, Klay Thompson got injured. Everyone's mentioned that he shouldn't have even been in the fourth quarter, except for the reserves weren't doing well. How bad is his injury?
Well, the X-rays were negative, so there's no fracture. Klay said it's minor. The Warriors have listed him as questionable for the game on Friday. They will update that probably twice between now and the game on Friday evening in Boston. So there's no certainty. Questionable means 50-50. And they didn't work out today, so tomorrow they'll see the court tomorrow for practice and see where he is. And if he's able to practice tomorrow, then he'll probably play on Friday. If he's not able to practice, he probably won't play on Friday. But yeah, I think the key there is that they all felt bad that the Warriors had to send the starters back in because they had what was a 32-point lead in that game. It was still 27 going into the fourth quarter, and I think the Pacers got it down to 15. At which time Walton said, "You know what? We're not going to give this game back to these guys." So in comes Draymond, Steph, and Klay all at once, and make sure that we don't lose this game. So if you're a reserve on the Warriors, you certainly got to feel bad about that because you know that Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, and like we shouldn't have even been on the floor.
You mentioned Luke Walton. I mean, every time I hear this guy speak, he's got this wonderful baritone voice, and I'm old enough to remember having covered his dad back in the day, and Luke is really, it's fun to listen to him talk basketball because it's almost like he's channeling Steve Kerr.
Yeah.
And I know he's getting a lot of help from Steve Kerr behind the scenes, but it's amazing how there's been this seamless transition. Kerr's got to be dying, not being able to coach, but at the same time, he's got to be sitting there saying, wow, my young assistant is really carving out a name for himself here.
No, I know Steve is very proud of Luke. When he's named Luke the number one assistant, Albert Yankee left last to go coach in New Orleans, and Steve promoted Luke from the number 3 assistant to the number 1 assistant. And there were people that kind of questioned that. Said, was he ready for that? Because this guy's been coaching for 1 year. Period. You know, is he ready for that kind of attention? Well, Luke, as you mentioned, his dad, Bill Walton, a Hall of Fame player. Luke grew up around the game, played the game at a high level, won championships. So he's a basketball guy from birth. So, and I don't think Steve puts him in that position unless he thinks he can handle it. And also, he's got some capable assistants. You know, Steve is there for him. So is Ron Adams, who was voted the top assistant in the NBA by a poll of GMs. Well, you've got a really good staff there, and I remember talking to Luke before the season started, and he was talking about this. I asked him if he was nervous or anxious or whatever, and he said, yeah, I am a little bit. He said, but I keep talking to Steve, and he said, don't worry about it. He said, the only person who's nervous is you. And the assistants are okay with this. The players are okay with this. It's going to be fine. Trust the players and trust your staff, and you'll be fine. And that was back in September, October, and now 23 wins later and 0 losses later, I think Luke realized, okay, it's okay.
Yeah,
well, I appreciate the fact that he doesn't have a big ego.
No, he's wise beyond his 35 years. Got to ask you about the second team though the Warriors have out there. Last night was a rare, as we speak, last night being earlier in the week on Wednesday was a rare breakdown. But that second team led by Andre Iguodala and with veterans like Barbosa and Sean Livingston, it just seems like they don't let up. And maybe that's the key to the Warriors' success is you have all these guys fresh. You can bring in new players, and there's so much ball movement and so much the frenzy kind of action because these guys have a lot in the tank. And maybe it's revolutionizing the game. I don't know, Monty. It reminds me of the kind of Warrior team we saw that you and I grew up watching back in the 70s when Rick Barry was playing and Al Attles was coaching, where they used everyone.
Yeah,
I remember that.
You can go 10, 11 deep, and sometimes further than that. I think the key for them, certainly last night, was that they didn't want Steph or Clay and Draymond and Andre out there for the extra time. They like to rest Andre whenever they can because they know that his knees can be troublesome. And so they want to keep him off his feet as often as possible, keep him fresh. I'll never forget, Steve Kerr said, goal with Andre is to have him play 75 games, 20 to 25 minutes, as opposed to 50 games, 30 to 35 minutes.
Monty, stay with us. They're tapping me on the shoulder for a hard break here. Stay with us. Okay, we got to cut to our last commercial break trivia question. This quarterback's last NFL touchdown broke a tie with Johnny Unitas on the career touchdown pass list.
Ooh.
All right, stay with us. Sports Econ 101. We'll be right back with some closing comments.
Okay.
Sorry about that. We ran over, and they have some hard breaks for me. And then we just have 2 minutes to go, and then we're done.
Yeah.
And thanks again for joining us.
Are you going to do some traveling with these guys when they get close to the record? Well, yes, they're back home for 5 games. So.
Well, yeah. Once they get back home, if they break the record, it would be at home.
Yeah. I was going to say, they got Roz on the road, but they got you in the studio, which is kind of a good combination because you work so well with Greg and with Saint that it's kind of a fun triumvirate, the three of you, and then they got, so I guess maybe that's their thinking right now? I don't know.
Yeah, it is. Roz travels with the team. And when I travel on my own. I travel, with Comcast accommodations. So Roz, from the team stays, Roz stays there with them. So she gets the 5-star hotel.
Yeah, she's new. I don't remember her phone.
No, she was here last year, but she went to Stanford. Bright young woman.
Yeah, she seems pretty good.
Yeah, she knows it. Oh, she played. Yeah, played ball there too, didn't she, Ryan? I think she played ball there.
All right, guys, let's close this thing off. Here we go.
All right, real quick.
Well, welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Last time for today, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Bruce McGowan. When we get to the last commercial break, we ask this trivia question. This quarterback's last NFL touchdown pass broke a tie with Johnny Unitas on the career touchdown pass list.
Let Monty try that one. I'm going to think so. Brett Favre, maybe, Monty? I don't know.
Can't be Peyton Manning. No. But it's not Peyton. Johnny Unitas a long time ago.
All right.
So,
Think Houston. Think Oilers and Vikings.
Oilers and Vikings.
Yeah. Well, come on. Hey, now you got to know.
This guy's not playing anymore.
He's not
He's
playing.
not playing anymore. anymore.
You got me.
Warren Moon.
Oh, Warren. You know, people never talk about that much about Warren. Played till he was in his 40s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have Monte Poole on the phone here. Monte, why don't you? We're gonna have to go here really soon. So finish off your story.
You were talking about Draymond Green there and about the number of games that he was playing.
Like Iguodala playing 75.
Yeah, and so the idea was that they didn't want the situation with Andre to become like the Heat does with Dwayne Wade, where they have to rest him for a week or two at a time, and he comes back and he's fine. They wanted just to keep Andre, keep his minutes low, and have him as often as possible for more games. And obviously, it paid off last year. He was the Finals MVP, so he was ready when they needed him. They want the same thing this year. So when you have a game like yesterday's game where the Birds have to come back out there, it hurts the team. And they were already weakened because Harrison Barnes is not there. He's already out. D'Angelo Barbosa was unavailable yesterday. He was sick. So you've got a short bench as it is, and then you have the other guy get hurt, Nate Thompson. It hurts them. So
That's tough.
it's going to be interesting to see how they play the weekend.
Yeah, I love Iguodala. I think he's great.
Yeah.
In fact, if you remember Kevin Johnson,
Sure, of course.
He used to play like 48 minutes.
Yeah, the mayor of Sacramento.
Yeah.
That's right. Monty, great stuff as usual. Really enjoy your work with Greg Papa and the Saints on CSNB. And keep up the good work, and we'll see you out at the arena soon.
Thanks again, Monty,
All right,
for joining us.
you guys take care.
You
Okay.
too. Good
All
guy.
right, here's our thoughts for the day. Merle Kessler said, football players, like prostitutes, are in the business of ruining their bodies for the pleasures of others, strangers.
Wow.
Oh, ouch, mama.
Wow.
And in baseball, you can't kill the clock. You've got to give the other man his chance. That's why baseball is the greatest game.
I
Said
agree.
Earl Weaver.
I agree.
I agree too.
Yeah.
Tune in next week to Sports Econ 101. We're going to be discussing sports topics from a business perspective, giving away more free vacations for answering sports trivia questions. Thanks for listening. On behalf of our team, I'm your host, Edward Brown. We'll see you next week.
Good night, America.
So long. Good. That was good. That was a good,
That was a good
show.
show.
Thank
Yeah,
you
we
very
got-
much. You did a great job getting those guys.
The last one I was kind of disappointed because Tom was sort of